Hey, so I want to talk about a way in which you, as a live performer playing guitar and singing, can take advantage of a mixing concept called ducking to better orchestrate and better allow what you want to be in focus from moment to moment to shine through. And so, ducking, if you're not familiar with what it is, and there's far more sophisticated definitions available, and I encourage you to visit them on your own. But in a nutshell, what we're talking about here is pulling back an element in the mix suddenly behind something else to allow something else to shine through, or conversely, suddenly making something a little louder just for a moment to emphasize something we're choosing to emphasize. Where I see this being germane to live performance is something that I often see beginners do, which is that they play their guitar and sing at full tilt, not really realizing or accounting for that these two things occupy a lot of the same sonic space, and they are competing with each other. Your voice and your guitar are actually struggling to take the same space in our ears. So it'll be something like this. Sophie's in the river and the river floods the trees. So Sophie's in the water, Sophie's in the knees. Day she's like a mama, the day she was queen. Well, Sophie is the fairest place out there in the state. Where'd you say? Talking about a girl flying out, no big fire, calling mama's knees. Where'd you say? Come to me, soon won't call your heart was made for only me. Okay, so now that was obviously I was being kind of extreme and but just to illustrate that is the kind of thing that you'll see, and I'm sure you can think of a time where you've heard something like that, where it just seems like what I want to hear is getting overwhelmed no matter what it is I want to hear. So this is an example of being really choosy and kind of self-orchestrating using better dynamics to create little spaces and hollows. And so in general, what you're going to hear me do here is to create a wider spread of dynamics in my guitar and really pick and choose when I'm going to accentuate it. I'm going to let it pop out every now and then when I want it to sort of take focus for just a second, but otherwise I'm going to let it defer to my voice. And I'm doing it all not by touching the volume on the guitar, not by going over and remixing it at the board. It's all just in my hands. I'm just going to make this adjustment on the fly, and I'm going to let my voice carry the song. Because in my case, that's what I pretty much always want to carry the song, is my voice. So this is the same thing with more ducking or self-orchestrating, a more aware approach to how these two elements can work in concert, and the guitar can wait its turn to be in the spotlight rather than constantly competing with my voice. Sophie's in the river, but the trees are Sophie's in the water, Sophie's in the best of me. They say she's like a mama, the day she was queen. Well, Sophie is the fairest face I think I've ever seen. Where'd you say? Talking about a girl fire on a paper bunny on the mama's knee. Where'd you say? Talk her fate, but soon my heart was made for only me, for only me. All right, well, I guess, yeah. So there you have that, and hopefully you get what I'm getting at. And so it's, I guess, to expand upon it a little bit. So here is a little more specifically what I'm doing. With that part, one thing I'm letting happen is this. So the percussive part of the guitar is I kind of get that for free. That's not really competing too much with what my voice wants to do. It's the body, the tone, the pitch. That sort of mid-range stuff is where we're really going to be at odds. But I get to have all this sort of high-end zingy stuff for free. And so I go ahead and let that be loud. And that's nice, and it gives that sense the guitar is there. You hear it, you know it's there, you're picking up on something it's doing. And then beyond that, I'm waiting for my turn to let it go. And I'm also, as I strike, I know that my voice is more down on these bottom strings than on the top strings. So I give myself a little more, I let the top of these chords ring out a little more, and just more of a hint of what's on bottom. I slip that in as quick as I can in the bar, and then kind of step that part of my hand away from it subsequently. So it's going to be like this. If this was what I might use as like an intro, would be kind of setting up this groove. There's surface in the river floods the trees. Surface in the water, surface in the passing. They say she's like a mama today. She was a queen. Surface is the fairest place I think I've ever seen. Now, on this next part, like there's a real big hole after I say the first line of the chorus. When I say, what did you say? Then there's a big space for me to really hit the full chord and let it ring out. And it's a real musical moment. And it's this counterpoint, this back and forth between guitar and voice. And it's ultimately, I think, more exciting, more engaging, more interesting to do it that way. And this is what it'd be like to where'd you say? Talking about a cornfire, baby burning on the mama's knee. Where'd you say? Talking about faithful, so my mother was made for only me. And you can hear again, like after I'm done singing the words of the chorus, we got a whole bar full of chords, then I just do this thing. And that's again. Now it's the bottom half of my guitar's time to shine, and now it gets to be the body, it gets to be the big presence. So, oh man, cut that. All right, you're gonna have to excuse me, but hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you understand what I mean about letting the two things balance and being counterpoint and being really mindful and aware of where you have your chances to let the sort of let the guitar be the secondary element, let your voice be the star, and just pick your spots to let the guitar shine forward, and it's all done in the performance at the instrument.